And we are live. What's going on, y'all? All Warren Cars back again with another car buyer's guide. Here we have a car from a brand that I really have mixed feelings about. Honda is not one of my favorite brands. I really don't get inspired by their cars. I see their cars on a daily basis. I'm like, wow, that is a regular car. However, there are three models from the Honda company that I do actually enjoy. I reviewed one of them a couple weeks ago. That was the S2000. Today we are going to be doing the Element, the second car, and you can probably guess what the third car is that I like from Honda. So what is the Honda Element? The Honda Element was Honda's attempt at appealing to Gen Y, so young men at the time. Men specifically. They believed that Honda was actually a brand that was mostly catering to females, and they wanted to kind of branch out into a new market segment and try to get a more masculine demographic. This is what they came up with. I'm not too sure if this screams masculinity, but it does scream hippie and it does scream outdoorsy, so maybe that's what they were going for. That being said, the car was not a great success in terms of numbers. On the last model year, 2011, this car was made from 2003 to 2011. It only sold 11,000 units, and when you compare that to its CRV cousin, brother, sister, which sold 200,000 units, you can see why that this car was not kept around for longer. The Honda Element is interesting though, because like most cars that don't sell very well in their first or when they are in production, later in life they become collector's items, and that's what's being seen with these right now. The people that the Element was originally designed for, who didn't buy the car because they were too poor, are now able to afford the Element, and you see it becoming a really prevalent lifestyle vehicle. People are using it for camping. It's almost like a mini RV. Some of the special features about this car that make it so versatile is the fact that it has an easy to clean interior, meaning that the floor is rubber and you can clean it out easily on most trims. The back seat can actually fold flat up into the side onto the wall. So basically they fold up like this and you have a full flat interior. He also had options of 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, as well as automatic and manual versions. What else? Yeah, it was just a really high ceiling car. It was like a truck, a wagon, SUV, all combined into one. Something I really like about the Element, and something that stood out for me and why the Element sticks in my head to this day, is the rear seat room. It has more seat room than any luxury car you can think of. The rear seat is probably about 3 feet behind the front seat. It is far, like you're sitting in a whole nother place when compared to just a regular back seat in a regular car. So a lot of people found these cars to be very practical. A lot of small businesses use them. However, you know, it just wasn't unique enough and priced in the right way to be appealing to the audience that they had intended. So let's get on to the features, options, and problems. But before that, some announcements real quick. If you want to follow along with what I'm talking about today, you can join my Discord. Let me just actually check this real quick. Sorry about that. Playing an ad. I need to get some YouTube Premium or whatever. So yeah, before we get to that, let's look at the Discord real quick. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So if you want to follow along with what I'm talking about during the show, you can join my Discord. I got 2 members already. Shout out to Firecycle, shout out to M. And then this is where I post the documents so you can follow along and refer to it after the show if you need to. Also, follow my Instagrams and my socials. They're in the description below. And then finally, if you have any cars you want me to review or do buyer's guides on, I do car reviews as well. I just haven't done them in a while simply because I've been trying to fix some stuff on my car before I do that review. And if I'm gonna be honest, it's been super cold and rainy outside, and it's harder to do a review when it's rainy. So when the weather gets a little bit better, I will get those out to you. No question about that. What else? Yeah, as I mentioned before, if you have any suggestions, leave them down in the comments. I'm always responding to comments, so don't feel shy to say something. And yeah, let's get into the features, options, and problems. Is there a recent? Yeah, there we go. Cool. And then let me get a picture in here real quick, just to make it look nice. Cool. Perfect. All right. Sweet. So we have the features, options, and problems. Let's get to the features. I kind of mentioned earlier a little bit. So this is the sheet right here. So the car was produced from 2003 to 2011, and there were a ton of changes in that model, or in that run, that I'll get to. Yeah, a ton of changes, but we'll be able to tackle it. It's not too bad. So 2003 to 2011 was when the car was produced. In 2007 to 2008, there was a small facelift, and then in 2009 there was a total facelift. So the body and the front and rear fascias was redesigned. Most of the cars are produced from 03 to 07. The biggest model year being 2003, so it sold almost 70,000 units its first model year, and then it tapered down to 11,000 units by the time it was taken out of production. So before 2007, you could get a 4-speed auto, before 2009, you could get a 4-speed auto and a 5-speed manual, and then after that, a 5-speed auto was standard. This 5-speed manual was kept the same throughout the entire run. You either get it in 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive, and this car has a 2.4 liter K24 inline 4 engine. Also, we'll get to the options. So that's the car. Very practical car. It has the K24 super reliable motor. That's one thing I'll give to Honda, is that their motors or engines are super reliable, the K24 being one of them. I mean, that's why they ran with it, right? That's why they run with just running 4 cylinders and some 6 cylinders, because they're so reliable. That's literally what Honda, that's its bread and butter, is pretty much the K24. So let's get on to the options. So a ton of options here, or a ton of things we're going to go over in terms of options, but I'll make it real simple for you guys to understand, as always. Let's make this bigger. Put that in. How's that look? Oh, whoops. Messed that one up, didn't I? Okay, let's just redo this. All right, perfect. Cool. So we have these are the trim levels I'm going to go over, because there are a bunch. So we'll just start off. I'll just get right into it. So there's the EX. This was the standard trim on the car. So it came with AC, cruise control, ABS, had the overhead storage, power mirrors, had the 7-speaker system. This is the trim that most of the cars come in. You have the DX, which was in 03 and 04 was the base model. It had optional AC. Then after the DX was discontinued, they replaced it with the LX. However, the LX had standard AC, cruise control, and power mirrors. The rest were options. In 2006, you saw the EXP trim, which was basically the EX trim. However, you see all the gray cladding. This was body colored. And then, let's see, where was I at? In 2007, you saw the introduction of the throttle-by-wire with the new K24A8. I believe the previous one was called the K24A4. And so this was a throttle-by-wire system. I don't know if you guys remember in my S2000 buyer's guide, this was the same occurrence. Basically, it switched from throttle-by-wire or cable throttle to throttle-by-wire. Here we go. So in 2009, they switched to a 5-speed. So that's 2007. So I was right. I misspoke right here. So in 2007, the 5-speed was introduced. It's because of the throttle-by-wire system. When you introduce throttle-by-wire into a system, it basically changes the entire car. You have a whole bunch of sensors that you have to include to make sure the throttle-by-wire system is monitored correctly. And with those sensors, you can add a whole bunch of other things, such as what I'm going to mention right now. So in 2007 Plus, it came standard with ABS, front side airbags, side curtain airbags, vehicle stability assist, traction control, and TPMS. All these things came with the throttle-by-wire car, simply because there are now a whole bunch more electronics to run the system, and those electronics can be used to do other things as well. So in 2007 Plus, the LX, which is the base level, came with black cladding instead of being gray. So make it a little bit newer looking with this cladding. Obviously, with all cars, when you see cars with cladding, after time becomes gray. So if you make it, or if you make it more black, obviously from the beginning, it's gonna age less. So, and look better, look newer. So in 2007, the EX came with painted panels. I have to see if that's true or not. If they all came with painted after 2007, because I believe after 2007 I did see some gray panel cars, but those might have been an LX trim. So we're just gonna stick with this right now. The EX 2007 Plus came with painted panels, and 2007 also saw the movement of the seatbelt location. Before, the seatbelt was actually located on the rear door. This car has rear suicide doors, so the front doors open regularly, the rear doors open reverse. And so the problem was that the seatbelt was mounted on the reverse door. So if you had a passenger trying to get out, you had to unbuckle your seatbelt and open the door. 2007 Plus came with the seatbelt mounted onto the seat, so you no longer had to go through all that to get the rear passenger out. In 2007, you also saw the introduction of the SC trim level, which is the sport trim level. Probably the most recognizable trim level of this car, simply because it looks the nicest. It doesn't look base model-y with the gray cladding or these small wheels. The SC trim came with also a carpeted interior, so it was going to be more of a car than a utility. And it also only came in front wheel drive. So you couldn't get an all-wheel drive SC. They were the sporty version, came with front wheel drive. Yeah, that's basically it. It also came with 18-inch wheels. It was lowered and it had a thicker sway bar and more sporty ride. In 2009, the front and rear bumpers were facelifted, including the lights. So it has a different front fascia, different headlights. And in 2009, nav was also added as an option for this car. And then in 2011, the SC trim was dropped and the manual was dropped. So basically, the last model year of the car, the SC trim and the manual were no longer available. So you could only get auto, EX, and LX cars. And so in my opinion, what you should go for in terms of reliability, collectability, value is a 2007 Manual Plus EX. I'll add here, I can't really add it, but 4-wheel drive. You want, in my opinion, like I want the most capable example of this car. The SC is nice and it looks really cool, but it doesn't come with 4-wheel drive. It only comes in front wheel drive. So, and they also command a really high premium, and they're not really like that usable for what this car is actually made for. It's just a sporty version, so it's not the most practical example. So I think you should get an EX manual 4-wheel drive car, 2007 Plus. Get the painted trim ones. If this is true, then they should all come with painted trim. But you just want to make sure that you get, you know, this is how you get the best bang for your buck. You get a throttle-by-wire manual 4-wheel drive painted trim car. So let's get on to some other stuff. Before we get onto the problems, I have some brochures and color palettes we can look at. Let's see. Let's go to this right here. So here we have the brochure for the 08 Element. So this is a throttle-by-wire car. And let's just go to these colors real quick. We can see these are the colors that were available for 2008 specifically. We got Atomic Blue, Kiwi Metallic, Tangerine Metallic, Tango Red Pearl, Alabaster Silver Metallic, Galaxy Gray Metallic, Nighthawk Black Pearl, Root Beer Metallic, and Royal Blue Pearl. And then we can also see the interior options for this year as well. There are other interior colors. I just want to bring this up because this is actually like a brochure released by the company, so it's good to have for these types of examples, just to see how they marketed the car at the time. But here we have the gray black interior, titanium black, black copper, and black titanium. So the black titanium was only available on the SC with Galaxy Gray. So these are the color combos they came in. You can kind of read that for yourself. The only ones that, so Alabaster came with all the interior colors. Oh, wow, there's 4 colors, but only, interesting. So Black Copper only came on the Root Beer SC cars. So that's pretty rare trim. Black Titanium was only available on gray, silver, and blue cars. Interesting, okay. Yeah, so you can see how the combinations are pretty, there's some that are rarer than others. Here we have the options list. most of the stuff on these things are standard. In LX, you're just going to be missing the projector beam, or I'm sorry, the chrome some places, diffusers. You're missing the audio, the advanced audio systems. In the LX, you only have the AM, FM, CD, the bass system. These are obviously like little things. Honda, most things are going to come standard. And let's look at a final color palette. This one kind of is more general, just to give you a little bit of a feel on the rest of the colors that were available. So this one gives it by model year. You can see that we got white was available for the first 3 years and then was discontinued. After that, it was replaced by a silver. We have polished metal metallic was available for the last 3 years. Magnesium metallic was only available for 2005. You can see how there are a ton of colors available for this car. As well as interior trims. So for 2007, 2008, as you can see what we saw earlier, black gray, black titanium, black copper. But also for other years, you have a gray blue interior, you have a gray green interior, you have black and red metal for 2009 plus in the SC. So you have some cool interior options. I really like the blue interior. It's hard to find because it's only on these early model years. The throttle by cable, the cable throttle cars, throttle by cable, the old school cars, 2007, 2006, and earlier. They have the blue interior and the green interior, which I think is pretty cool. So let's get on to the problems. These problems are going to be pretty common with Hondas in general, and also in general is that these cars are pretty reliable. So these problems, you know, they're problems, but they're not too big of an issue. You'll see plenty of these cars running at 200,000 miles plus. So you want to make sure that the interior of the car is in good condition. This includes seat tears and just scuffs on the interior. You don't want any scratches or deep scratches on the trim, stuff like that. You want to make sure the car is in good condition. In terms of mechanical, we have VTEC control solenoid leak. This leaks oil all over because it controls the it uses oil to control the timing. So basically you get I don't know, I guess it gets more advanced as you go up in the RPM, something like that. Basically you get more power as you go up. It changes timing, variable valve timing. You have the ignition switch, which is what you put your key in. If your car doesn't want to turn on, it has the key little thing, the logo, the light flashing in the dash. You got some issues with your ignition switch. You got drive shaft shake. So this is on the 4-wheel drive cars. This will be the drive shaft going to the rear diff. Will have some play that will cause vibrations. You also have CV axles. These can make noise. They can have vibrations. They can leak. Just CV axle problems in general. If you are familiar with any type of, not even front wheel drive, but cars with CV axles, these are just problems that you're going to have. The cam oil sensor is also an issue. You're going to have to get that replaced. Sway bar bushing, sway bar links, suspension issues in general. You want to make sure that the car runs quietly and smooth, doesn't clunk, especially at low speeds. One thing about these cars you also have to do is a valve adjustment. This is just something for the K24. You just got to do valve adjustments every so often, keep the car running right. And then you also have some other interior issues such as gauge cluster and climate control bulbs going out. These are small things. You just got to change the bulb. And then one final overarching issue you have to look out for is rust. These cars are Hondas. They rust, which is another reason why I don't really like them that much. Like 90s Hondas, I mean, even these 2000s Hondas, they rust. So if you get a car that's in the north or in the rusty area of the country, you want to make sure that you look underneath and check out the underbody. You want to make sure that the rust isn't bad, because there are several examples where a car looks like this on the surface, but underneath it just looks horrible. So that goes over the features, options, and problems. Let's get on to the ads themselves, and then we can take a look at some of the information that we learned today and apply that, I guess, in real life. So let's do that. Where is the ads? Where did I put them? Join the Discord, y'all, so you can keep up. I put all the links to the ads in the Discord as well, so you can go check them out if you're actually interested in any of the examples I talk about. All right, I don't know where I put. Well, here we go. Cool, that's auto trader. Let's look on Facebook first. Here we have a blue example. We have a 2003 first model year car, automatic transmission. This is going to come with the 4-speed and the old cable throttle. Engine, the K24A4. As you can see, it is everything is super base about this car. It's automatic. Looks pretty clean though for 150,000 miles. Seats and interior look in pretty good condition. This car does have the blue interior that I think is pretty quirky and cool. Very clean, very clean. If you're just looking for a car to get around in that's reliable and is practical in terms of space, this would be something that I definitely could get behind. I can see a little bit of rust. You definitely have to check out the underbody, make sure that the rust is okay. But interior looks pretty good. Let's see what they have to say. Very good condition, run and drive, very good, no problems, nothing really. They're asking $4,500. This is the first model year with 150,000 miles. I don't think I'm going to pay $4,500 for a first model year. For this, I'd be around 3. We'll say 3, and see what this guy has to say, or girl, Blanca. So yeah, 3 grand is what I'd be at for something like this. First model year, 150,000 miles with a semi-cool spec. And it looks pretty clean. Here we have a manual example, 200,000 miles, and this one is red. You can see this one has the painted body panels. This is a 2006 EXP, which P stands for painted. Manual car, looks pretty clean. You can see there's some wear on the driver's seat, but it does have 200,000 miles. This is what I'm talking about. See how far back the rear seats are? It's insane. You can literally lay here in the middle. Also with these cars, I forgot to mention, it's really cool. It has a 2-piece tailgate. The bottom flips out for like a bench, which is really cool. Clean engine bay, which is surprising. Usually these look pretty dirty. This car looks pretty clean aside from the tear on the seat. So it just looks like it's been cleaned recently. And this part is the most special part of the car, the manual transmission. I love how it sticks out of the center console like that. It does that on the I forget, I don't know the model or the chassis codes for these, but one generation Civic Si does this, the hatchback looking one, which I think is so cool. It just looks so quirky and interesting. But yeah, they want $4,500 for this car. It is a manual car. Manuals are a little bit more rare than the automatics, so they do command a premium. This one, however, does have 200,000 miles. So for a manual with 200,000 miles, I'd be around $3,500. Even though this is an 06 and it's a painted car, I'd be around $3,500 because it does have 200,000 miles. Let's see what they have to say about it. It is in Spanish. Oh, here we go. Average sales price, very good condition. Nothing really. New tires, almost new. Daily use, still available. No, yeah. $3,500 is where I'm at for this car. 2006, manual painted. Here we have a 2007, so it's the first model year of the throttle-by-wire system. See what he has to say. Wow, it's a lot. Okay, let's read. 2007 Honda Element EX SUV in Galaxy Gray. 2-owner car. Most of its life garage in Virginia. Rugged, great, no wrecks. Maintenance records for every oil change since 2009. Wow. Okay, so everything. So they have records since 2009, which is really good. That's something you want to look at or make sure that you have for whatever car you buy. You want to make sure that it has a ton of records because you just want to have that in writing and in stone that it has had this stuff done, because or else you really don't know. And yeah, you really can't tell repairs unless you can literally see the new part. What else? Tires replaced, 30k miles left. Windshield is a crack. Replace starter, replace exhaust and lower control arms and tie rod ends. So it has some maintenance. Clean car, it looks like. See how much rear legroom this is? It's insane. Tan and black interior. Not too much wear on the seats. Interior looks fine. Yeah, this car looks perfectly fine. 166,000 miles, so a little bit high, but it has some good maintenance. They want $6,900. Because it is a little bit higher on the mileage, I wouldn't want to pay almost 7 grand for it. I'd be around 55 for this car, simply because it is a throttle-by-wire car, so it has a lot more features, and it is pretty clean with the good maintenance history. So I'm at 5,500. Moving on to our next example, we have a 2011 last model year car, 141,000 miles, 142,000 miles. They want almost 15 grand for this car. 14.9. It is the last model year, so it has that going for it. You can see that the rear and front look a little bit different. Let's see if we can find a picture of the... You can see, it's hard to really tell, but the handle is a little bit different, and this trim piece is a little bit different. And then you'll also see the front fascia is completely different as well. Let's look at this one. As you can see, it looks like this, and then this one looks like this. Definitely facelifted. We have an all tan interior. Underbody pictures, no rust, as you can see. The bushings also look like they're pretty good. This one looks like it's cracking a little bit. Does it say anything about the bushings? I don't know if that's a crack or what, but no rust, so that is a good thing. Very clean car. The miles are really high. I wouldn't recommend paying $14,900 for this car, even though it is a final model year. I'd more be around the 10 grand mark. Actually, I don't know, not even 10 grand. I'd say I'm around like 9 grand, 8,500, because this car has such high miles. It's clean, I'll give it that. No rust or anything, but 8,500 is where I want to be at right now. I don't really feel like paying 15 grand for a Honda Element that is high miles. Like, you can get one for under 100,000 miles for this price. Here we have our final example, a 2010 Element SC. So this is the sport package, and this is a facelifted example. There are SCs in the pre-facelift, but this is a facelifted SC. I really like the way the SC looks. Looks pretty cool. Looks like, you know, something I would do to a car if I were to customize it. It's lower. It has a body kit. Yeah, it just looks cool. It has different interior trims as well. As you can see, it has the this print in the middle of the seat, but it is a black car. And as you can see, it has the carpeted floors. That's what set the SC apart. On the interior was the interior seat colors and the carpeted floors. Let's see. They want 10.2 for this car, 147,000 miles. So, you know, they're a little bit closer to what this car is worth. 147 for a 2010. It's an SC. I'd be willing to pay up to 9 grand for this car. I think that is close to what it's worth. It's one of the last model years of the car, and it's an SC. The only problem is it's an automatic. However, the SC manuals are pretty rare. I believe we only have one that we're going to look at. But yeah, for this one, I say 9 grand is what I'd be willing to pay for this car right here. Moving on to our first ad on Auto Trader, we have our cheapest example, which is a 2003 orange car. I believe it's an automatic as well. Yep, automatic. 2003, least amount of options. You got the body cladding, silver or gray clad. Yeah, 3550 though, you really can't go wrong. It has a clean title, no accidents. Yeah, I mean, just for the sake of it, I'm at 2 grand. 2 grand for this car. We'll see what happens, but see what I'm talking about? These cars you can get for pretty cheap, and for 2 grand, this is a ton of car. You can live in this thing. Here we have a 2004 example, EX. So it's going to be the standard trim, 164,000 miles, almost 100,000 miles less than our previous example. They want 6,500 bucks. Let's see what they got going on here. A little dirty. The cladding could use a touch up. A touch up. Interior looks okay. Black interior. Looks pretty clean, honestly. Not too bad. Engine bay looks like it was cleaned recently as well. We got some hail damage on the hood. Dang, this car might have been in no accidents, but it might have a branded title because of this. Yeah, hail damage on the hood. I'm at 3,500 bucks. I don't, like, come on now. 3,500 bucks. Anything they got to say? Nope. Oh, it has a salvage title. No accidents though. I'm sorry I even put this on here, y'all. This Auto Trader doesn't have the best filtering. CarGurus has the best filtering, which is why I saved it for last. Here we have the Honda Element EXP. So it's a painted car. You can see that it doesn't have any gray cladding. Silver. Let's see what we got going on in the interior. Black interior looks pretty clean. Automatic. This is a throttle by cable car. 242,000 miles for 5,700 bucks. No thanks. I'd be around 4,500 bucks for this car. It is a painted car. I'm assuming it has a clean, clear title. Yep. New struts, new sway bar links, new throttle body gasket, variable valve timing gasket, ball joints. Yeah. So this car has had a lot of maintenance done to it. I'm at around 5,000 bucks. 4,500 bucks. 4,500 bucks for this car. Cool. Moving on, we have a red example, 2008. So it's going to be a throttle by wire car. Not facelifted though. Still the old body style, but one of the last model years in this body style. It says it's the manual. However, it doesn't show any interior pictures, unfortunately. But we'll take it for what it says. 10 grand, 9,600, 184,000 miles for 2008. For the manuals, they do command a premium, as I mentioned before. However, did I have a manual here? Yeah, I did. So this is 2000. Yep. So this has 184,000 miles. So it's pretty high up there. I don't think it's worth 10 grand. I'd be around 6,500 bucks for this car if it was super clean on the inside and it has a manual and it has good good maintenance history. This is a four-wheel drive car too, so yeah, 7,000 bucks. And then here we have a interesting example. It's a 2010. This kind of just is an example to show you how useful these cars can be. This is a 2010 SC model, and they converted it for use for a wheelchair, which is really cool. So they put in a ramp, everything works. There's enough space so you can get a whole wheelchair in there. And just super cool. Look, they got swiveling seats and everything. Super cool build for this car. I'm sure someone loves it and it's really helpful for them, like on a daily, to use something this small that can fit their wheelchair. So stuff that this car can be used for. 16.5 though, not worth it. I don't care if you have a wheelchair, you got like a breathing machine or what. I'm not paying 17 grand for an Element. 82,000 miles, so it is low miles. So, and it is an SC. The only problem is this conversion kind of makes it very niche in terms of who it's marketed for. So, and I know these conversions cost a lot of money, so that's why this price is like this. So for this conversion, for this low miles, I'd be willing to pay 12.5. Hopefully I could find, this would simply be for a flip, and hopefully I could find someone where I'm not, making their life super hard by trying to flip them a handicap car. That's awful. All right, moving on to Car Gurus. We have our first example. Super, super base. It's an LX though, but it has the steel wheels. Manual car. This guy did something special with seats. Not really sure. Oh, it's a little cover. Not really real upholstery, but you can tell that the seats are in super bad condition. It is a manual car, aftermarket radio, orange. This is like the basest car you could see. Like the gray is peeling. It has dents. It has steel wheels. It's manual. Super hippie vibes here. But one thing about these cars, it's really hard to make the interior look bad unless you rip the seats. This car does have ripped seats, so they managed to do it. However, the rest of the interior doesn't look too bad. You can see that dent on the side. 4 grand they're asking, 250,000 miles. I'm at 1,500 bucks. 1,500 bucks for this car. It's all-wheel drive at least. And it's manual, 1,500 bucks. Maybe 2 grand since it's a manual, but it has dents, has rips. Not really something that I want to pay more than 2 grand for. So we have a 2003 example here. Gray car, not too many pictures of the interior, unfortunately, but it is a gray car. These pictures are stupid. I hate it when dealers take these Photoshop pictures. Like, it's not even sitting on the floor, dog. Like, hire me. I don't know who's doing this, but they definitely need some help. You got a mix of outdoor and Photoshop pictures. Anyway, $4,000, 2003. It's a automatic all-wheel drive car, 230,000 miles. I'm at 1,500 bucks for this one. It's automatic. Here we have a root beer car. I really like this car. I can't tell these are a bunch of scratches. I guess they are, but it is a root beer car. Root beer Honda Element SC. It's gonna have the cool interior as this one has a leather interior, which I'm not sure if that's custom or not. I've never seen a leather interior on this car. So we'd have to find that out. But it has a root beer exterior. Has a carpeted floors, very clean example. Has a couple scratches on the outside. As you can see right here, that just show up really heavy in the sunlight. But other than that, you can see it has, can't tell these are reflections or like water stains, but some body marks. But it is the brown example. The root beer cars are really rare and something that you should look for if you want one of these. This is a pre-facelift SC. As you can see, it has the old style SC, which was different from the old style EX and LX. Basically, the new facelifted element takes inspiration from the pre-facelift SC. And this one is a manual car, so super rare to have an SC manual. I think that this car is super desirable. It's root beer, it's manual. It is, although it is a pre-facelift, it is still desirable because it is a manual SC. 12 grand for a pre-facelift SC though, I don't know about that. It does have the manual though. So for this spec specifically and under 100,000 miles, I'd be around 9 grand. I think this is worth 9 grand simply because it is a rare spec, it is manual, and it is under 100 grand in terms of miles. Moving on, we have a 2010 EX example. Black car, looks pretty standard, nothing too fancy going on here. It is an automatic, it has a tan interior. One thing about these Honda tan interiors is that they stain pretty bad, as you can see right here. I'd recommend just getting dark interiors in general, unless you get like a tan, like Alcantara tan, like in terms of like a wheat style interior. Like first thing that comes off of my head is the interior of the LC500, that style tan. But like this beige gray tan is not it. It gets dirty super fast, especially on a car that's supposed to be made for outdoorsy, rugged stuff. You don't want to have an interior that stains easily. So we got the black on tan interior, 12,174. They want 133,000 miles. I would not pay 12 grand for this. It is a 2010, so it is a facelifted car, but it's not an SC. It is not a manual. It is only front wheel drive, so this car is only worth about 7 grand to me. 7,500 is where I'm at. That is the max. And then we have our last example. We have a 2009 SC. So this is going to be a facelifted SC. As you can tell, it looks pretty cool. I like the back of the SC a lot, especially in the facelifted version. Rear bumper looks pretty cool. I like how boxy it is. Black interior, carpeted floors, as you can tell, standard on the SC. Nothing really too different. This one does have the nav installed. Super rare option. There only came out 2009 plus, but it has the nav installed, factory nav, clean engine bay. This car has some options, but for 15.6, 96,000 miles, I'd be around 10.5 for this car. It is a 2009 SC, so it's facelifted SC, pretty rare, and it has nav. However, I don't think I'd pay over, I don't even remember what I said for this price, honestly. I kind of blanked there. 2009 SC. Yeah, I mean, I'd be willing to go up to like 11.5, 12 for this car, simply because of the spec. However, it is not a manual, so I can't really go up that high, but it is low miles. So yeah, 11.5. 11.5 is where I'm 11.5. That's what I said before. 11.5. That's what I'm at. That's the final verdict on this car. So that wraps up the buyer's guide. I really like the Honda Element. I believe that this car is going to become a cult classic. I believe that, as I mentioned before, 2007 plus EX manual four-wheel drive cars are going to be the most desirable. The second most desirable, I think, are going to be manual SC cars. I haven't really seen any manual SC facelifted cars. That would only be for one model year. Actually, no, it'd be for 2 model years. But I really haven't seen them. They discontinued the SC and the manual in 2011, so you can't. So it'll only be for 2009, 2010. You'd be looking for it. So trying to find a manual car in general is pretty hard, let alone a manual facelift SC. That thing would be, I think that would be the second most desirable. And then after that, you kind of want to get, I'd say after you get a fully loaded, so not fully loaded, but standard spec EX manual 4-wheel drive facelift car or throttle by wire car, After that, I recommend getting a manual facelift SC if they even exist. After that, I recommend getting a manual ST in general. And then after that, I recommend you getting a base four-wheel drive manual car. The reason why I want you to get a base one is because it's going to be cheapest and it's going to be the most utilitarian and rugged, which is, the purpose of this car for a lot of people. So that is also something you can look at where you don't have to spend a lot of money, but you get the most utility. That wraps it up. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys learned something. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to be doing the Toyota or Lexus GX470. The LX470 is pretty played out. The GX470 I think is a really good value. It has the same engine as the LX470 and it's a little bit smaller. So I think that a lot of people will like that car, and I think a lot of people should look at that car. I know a lot of people already look at that car, but I'm going to be doing a buyer's guide so you guys can get an in-depth explanation of what to look for, standard stuff of what I do on this channel. So yeah, that wraps it up for this Tuesday. I hope you guys learned a lot. I will see you guys again tomorrow, 10 a.m. with the Lexus GX470 buyer's guide. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And most importantly, take it easy and be safe. Y'all have a good one.